Welcome to Valley Forge, Pennsylvania in the Q-Tech-Q's Players Championship, presented by the American Pool Players Association. Let's meet the players. Player number 1, currently ranked number 4 in the world, if you would, from Atlanta, Georgia, Miss Helena Tornfeld. And her opponent, the current number 1 ranked player in the world, the Irish invader, Karen Cole.
You're getting a good idea of the energy that is in this room. Helena Tornfeld on the left, Karen Corr on the right. You're watching semifinal action in the Q-Tech-Q's Players Championship presented by the American Pool Players Association. Mitch Lawrence and Ava Lawrence, thrilled to be here with you. The number 1 ranked player in the world, Karen Corr, has just won the lag and will break first. And as she gets ready, we'll show you how both of these great players got to this point in the tournament. Karen started off beating Sarah Rossi 9-1. Neslie O'Hare went down. Sarah Ellerby 9-3. Gerda Hofstetter and Helena Tornfeld back-to-back 9-8 matches to give you an idea of the toughness of Karen Corr, and then losing big time to Allison Fisher in the finals of the victors side, 1-9. So she is here in this semifinal matchup and is itching for a chance to get back at Allison. Here's Helena Tornfeld's record up to this point. Started off against Englishwoman Kim Shaw, Kelly Oyama, Monica Webb, and Robin Dotson went down, and then lost to Karen Corr, as we said. She came back very strongly. Vivian Villarreal 9-4, and then Gerda Hofstetter 7-2. So Helena Tornfeld with something to prove. She wants to get back at Karen Corr, who defeated her in this tournament. One of these two players, as I said, will move on against Allison Fisher in the finals. And this is going to be one super match. An easy break over by Karen, and it works just with a shot on the 2.
I think she can possibly hit the 2. It's going to be very close. No, I don't think she can. Looking overhead here, you can see she can't hit it. So she's going to definitely have to push out. But it is amazing to me how well Karen studies the break and has learned how to break, making that 1 ball on the side consistently. As you can see here, she's blocked with the 3 and the 9. She's looking at the possibility perhaps of kicking, trying to kick is safe, going behind into the cushion, hit and stick right there and send a 2 ball up to the opposite side of the table. But this move is kind of surprising me here. Why she would kick at this as opposed to push out. This is very surprising to me, Mitch. That was an excellent shot. Obviously, she felt confident she could hit the 2 ball exactly where she wanted to. They had the cue ball stick right there.
Well, that
it
is
was a pretty risky shot to start
yeah, but
out
that's
with.
something that she has done so well over the last year. We'll talk about this. If we take a look at the table, we'll talk about this a lot, about the year that Karen Corr had in 2001. She, I think, feels confident with almost any shot she's going to hit.
She does, but she's also known for playing the smart shot, playing the correct shot all the time, the higher percentage shot. And, well, it was a very aggressive move on Karen's part. We'll see if it pays off here.
And both of these players have taken extensions now in this first rack. This will give me a time to tell you quickly about the rules of the game. It's a race to 7, a 30-second shot clock on each player with that 1 extension per rack, and it will be cue ball fouls only. Helena Tornfeld said, great tournament so far. Some tough matches, some easy ones. Absolutely deserves to be here. The number 4 ranked player in the world, trying to move up in the rankings.
10.
Trying to get a tournament victory, which she has not had since 1997 even.
Which is amazing to me that she has not won one since 1997, because she is just such an incredibly strong competitor. Obviously last year nobody had a chance to win any tournaments because Karen pretty much took care of that by herself. But Helena's just a tremendous player, tremendous competitor, and she'll have plenty of championships to come, I'm sure.
It makes it easy to remember who won last year in 2001 on tour, because you don't have to kind of, well, let's see, which player won that, which player won that, as we watch Karen come back with a safety. And I don't think she's real happy with that one.
That's not what she wanted to do. She wanted this 2 ball to stay more where it was at behind the 3 and have the cue ball come down, possibly behind the 4 or the 7. In this situation, she's going to have to just, Helena's going to just bear down, try to pocket this 2 ball in the side pocket. When you shoot this, she's going to try to play for the 3 ball in the opposite side. But if you miss this, you want to play it with correct speed. Ooh. It's the only thing you want to do. What I was going to say was you want to play it, if anything, to the other side of the pocket, where if you miss it, It hits before the side, it goes up table, playing the correct side to leave it on the other side. But obviously, Helena went all offensive there and felt that she was going to make it.
It's a little bit of jockeying back and forth in this first rack. See if Karen can take advantage. And no. Oh, yes. A little bit of pocket speed. It looked like it was going to hang up there. While she takes a look at it, let's mention this great playing equipment. These players will be playing on the best in the world. Brunswick Billiards, Montebello tables, Centennial balls by Brunswick, Simonis 860 cloth, and the Sardo tight rack. Seen a lot of these great products. We thank all of them. Karen Corr, originally from Valley Money in Northern Ireland, now living in Northeast Philadelphia and Feasterville. What a long journey this world of nightball can take you on. I know you knew that.
Well, and I can relate to it, coming over from Europe and coming over here to play. It's a pretty different world all the way around. Takes you a while to get used to it, but I would say Karen is pretty much used to Philadelphia and the United States by now. And she solved this rack beautifully. What she needs to do now is make sure she comes back, draws the cue ball back, to have a similar shot on the 8th where the cue ball is now, and she has a perfect run.
For those of you watching at home who may be beginning pool players, both of these players, good players to watch, pay particular attention to how still Karen Corr stays and how her head stays incredibly still.
It's true. She just has the perfect fundamentals. Just very solid, beautiful stroke. You can't pick her game apart. I mean, it's rock solid all the way around.
So in a very short time, Karen Corr has become the #1 player in the world, and she does what she does best. Jumps out to a 1-0 lead over Helena Tornfeld here in Valley 4. When you get to this level of competition, something from the outside often can turn a player's career. Helena Tornfeld has had a chance to work with somebody very special in the pursuit of excellence.
Yeah, you know, I'm fortunate enough to live in the same city in Atlanta as Johnny Archer, which is one of the greatest pool player ever lived. And he's a very good friend of mine, and we practice together sometime. And just being around a champion like that, he was voted player of the decade last decade. I mean, he's just a true champion. And just hanging out with him and playing with him is just unbelievable experience, and it's great.
The Q-Tech Cues Players Championship is brought to you by Q-Tech Cues, serious cues for serious players. By Brunswick Billiards, since 1845, the standard of superior craftsmanship preferred by experts around the world. And by the American Pool Players Association, the world's largest pool league. Good look at that Montebello table by Brunswick, and the #1 player in the world standing over it, Karen Corr, at the table, up by a game here against Helena Tornfeld, 2-1 in a race to 7. One of these players will move into the finals of the Q-Tech Cues Players Championship. We're in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. Mitch Lawrence and Ava Lawrence bringing you the action. And as we've come to expect, Ava, a soft break by Karen gets the job done.
That one ball on the side is just amazing how steady she is with it. She expected a better shot when she turned around to go to get her break cue. She expected a better shot here at the 2. As you can see, she does have an open shot at the 2, but even if she can make it, it's tough to get up to the other side of the table for the 3. She was hoping for a little bit straighter on shot on the 2 than that. Yeah. It's a great shot, and she has no fear for those long shots.
She just looks so steady when she's over a shot. She really does. We talk about this a lot, about building a foundation.
Right.
from the ground up, and she just looks, whether it's from years of playing snooker or the confidence she has, whatever, she looks so solid right
Well,
now.
playing snooker, you see that with all the snooker players, is that they all are taught from a very, very early age the correct fundamentals right off the bat. And they all have the same stance, very similar strokes. And as I say that,
Of course, the
a
curse
very
of broadcasting.
uncharacteristic miss by Karen. It was obviously a very difficult shot, a long cut shot. However, Karen has been so steady making those. You're almost surprised when she does miss one once in a while. And Helena didn't really get a shot here, but she has a good chance to play safe. And just thin this 3 on the left and split the 3 and the cue ball and hide it behind the cluster of balls there in the middle of the table. Just like that, good shot.
It's smart play by Helena. It's always interesting to see which players you think sometimes there's a part of your brain that goes, I know they should play safe, but are they going to maybe wail at it and try to bank it? You got the 4 hanging in the pocket, and you got a lot of restraint and patience.
Absolutely,
shown
and
by
both these
Helena.
players have a tremendous respect for each other. They played early in the tournament, and Karen just barely squeaked by and won 9-8. So I think Karen has a lot of respect for Helena's game. She plays a very smart game, and nobody's going to go for any chancy shots here, as we've seen before, playing a lot of safeties and back and forth.
I like the way Helena looks now when she's at the table. She has a tendency sometimes to look like she's a little unhappy, disappointed, or whatever, but she seems to be in a place, even though she missed that shot, she seems to be in a place where she's really in the matches now. She's really very focused and concentrated. Even
That's
that
true.
reaction to a miss, which before, a couple, 2-3 years ago, she might have shown a lot more disappointment.
Yeah,
Just
I
goes back to
think-
her seat and says, okay, I missed it.
I think she's just ready to win. She's really, 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 she's done all her homework. She's done, you know, she practiced a lot with Johnny Archer now. Johnny, who was voted Player of the Decade, a real great champion. They've been playing a lot in Georgia, where they both reside. And it's really, really shown up in her game. And all she really needed was a little bit of confidence to be able to create, you know, that winning attitude.
What a great shot by Karen there. And a very, very appreciative crowd. We might mention that a lot of these players, there's a Billiards Expo here in Valley Forge. A lot of them are pool players, a lot of them members of the American Pool Players Association, who've been not only playing and interested in the game, but volunteered this week helping out at this event. And we owe them a big debt of thanks. It's great to see them here, and they really add a lot, Ava, to the game, you know, to the atmosphere that's around here. People who know the game and appreciate good shot making and good
They
safety
really
play.
do. And I mean, the fact that there's over 40 million people playing this game, there's just, you know, players of all different levels, all the way from pros to beginners to the juniors. There's a junior division here, and it's just really neat to see the future of pool being played and being promoted at this level.
Karen looks like she's opened this rack up now. 1 game apiece. Oh, sorry, Karen Corr up 2-1. We are in the 4th rack.
And Karen just made a major mistake here. It stopped just in time from being straight in, but the last place you want to be is straight in. She wanted to be in this area so she could just make the 7 and float up anywhere here for the 8. And fortunately for Karen, it didn't go all the way down to where she was straight in, but she's definitely straighter than she wanted to be. You have to just draw this with a lot of left spin and come back out to this 8 ball. She made a really good shot there, Mitch, on the 7 to get up for the 8. But again, she has more work to do than she wanted. She's going to have to clip the 8 ball on the side and then do some work and have the cue ball go all the way down to one end of the table and come back down for the 9.
There is a serious Karen Corr. Looks to me like she just bores that stare right through. Knows exactly what she wants to do with it in her mind. And then lets her body accomplish what she wants to do. 2 racks in a row for the #1 player in the world, Karen Corr. She leads by 2 over Helena Tornfeld. It was a phenomenal year in 2001 for Karen Corr. It'd be interesting to find out whether now having the title of #1 player in the world, is there any pressure as far as keeping that?
Yeah, there's extra pressure. I mean, the competition's getting better. I've been practicing hard. This has been the first tournament after a couple of months break, so I've just been practicing hard and trying to keep on top of the game and, you know, make the best of it, really.
Welcome back. I am thrilled to be joined in the booth by a legendary player. That's the only way that I can put it. Lori John Jones is joining Ava and I. Great tournament for you. You finished 7th, 8th. I know you'd like to be a little further along, but it was a really, really good tournament. It felt like you played pretty solid 9-ball and had some
Absolutely.
great matches.
I thank you, because it was a very hard day. I played 14 hours.
Wow.
So I was very tired by 12:30 last night.
Yeah, you're not complaining about that. I mean, isn't
not
it
at
every
all.
sport that you have to play 14 hours?
Absolutely. And they don't think you have to be in good shape to play pool.
Isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
It's incredible to me. I think everybody at home, you should just try to bend over in a pool stance and just stay that way for 8 or 10 hours and see how you feel. We're glad you're up here in the booth. We have a great match going on. Karen Corr has jumped out to a 3-1 lead over Helena Tornfeld. And if you're a Helena, you do not want to let too much time go by before you get another rack. And if you're Karen, you want to keep it going. And nice soft break again. And let's see, I don't think this time anything, and Helena will get a chance at the table.
Seems to be a lot of safeties in the beginning of the matches, you know, the games that I've been seeing. And Karen obviously has won all of those safeties.
She's been so strong making that 1 ball in the side pocket on the break, and this time she just hit it a little bit too thin, a little bit off, and the 1 ball went up table instead. But she's been very solid. We were just talking about that, making that 1 ball on the side consistently. All year last year, actually, she was doing that. And keeping control of the table and then backing it up with either runouts or great safety. So she's tough.
In the matches, I was thinking that this scenario has happened a lot last year. Allison's on the winner side, and Karen goes to play this position and has won. And I just find it's going to be a very interesting final if Karen gets in there again.
Well, that relationship has been building, the one between Karen Corr and Allison Fisher. It's been there for a while in the snooker world. Now it's here in the 9-ball world. Helena, we were talking about earlier, Laura John, who hasn't won in a little while. She's incredibly hungry. So I think all these scenarios of people who want to get there, there's a great feeling of competition out here on the tour. And I know both of you appreciate it because you've been around for a little while, just a little while, around the game. Nice shot there by Karen. Did it get by the 6?
Well, it takes so much out of you to reach the #1 position that to stay there for any length of that, that's why it was so amazing what Allison Fisher accomplished.
Absolutely.
To be able to stay there for 6, 7 years is unheard of because it takes everything you've got to get there, and then everybody's firing at you. You tend to let down from there, and that's why it's going to be interesting to see how long Karen can hang in there.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Both of you players, Ava and Laura John, you've been #1 in the world. You know what it takes to get there. Is there a letdown? I mean, once
Much more
you
difficult to
accomplish
stay
that
there.
goal.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Much more difficult to stay there.
Yeah. So you're looking for, I guess you're just looking to see what Karen's going to do and how she kind of deals with it. It didn't take her that long.
You
She
hate
came
to
here
think
in
about it.
1998.
Right. But when you get to #1, it's like you have something to fire at, and then you do. And then when you get there, you have to stay there. And it's very difficult. I
Kind of turn
find
around
it,
and say, well, what do I do now?
yeah, you just keep it there.
Karen here played a good safety on Helena, and it looks like Helena's going to go ahead and try to kick all the way down here and come back, try to hit the 3-ball. Not an easy kick by any means.
Both of these players very, very skilled in the art of the safety.
As well as kicking. I know Helena's one of the better kickers on the tour. She kicks at balls and plays you safety back, or if not making the ball.
And certainly, Karen, I was struck in the last couple of years by how much Karen uses the safety as an offensive weapon. It's not just, well, I don't really have a shot, I'm going to try to, hook somebody. She really, I think it wears you down after a while, too, mentally,
Yes, it does.
doesn't it?
Yes, it does, because she wants you to get tired. If she knows that you're an offensive player, she's going to play safeties on you. And you're going to get tired. And by the time you get a shot, you're so excited to shoot that you miss.
So it changes the whole rhythm of how you play.
She
Exactly.
forces you to make mistakes over and over and over. That's one of her major strengths.
Yes, we know it.
Yeah, I
at
know,
least.
I know, I know.
I noticed the look between the two of you. And she's doing exactly what we talked about, which is get to a certain point, and little by little, all of a sudden you realize if she were to take this game, she'll be at 4-1.
Yes.
And now Helena will be in a position of, uh-oh, I've got to make something happen.
Her position is phenomenal. Her positioning on each ball and how easy the shot is. I've been very impressed watching her in the past year. She got away with that. She kicked that as I make that statement.
Yes, but that is the broadcast booth.
Exactly.
Trust me, no matter what you say, the opposite will happen.
Well, she got away with it.
Well, you need that too.
And she's opened this up where she has a good run here, making the 6 down in the corner. All she needs to do is drift up just a little bit for the 7 in the side, and she should be home free. Just want to make sure she doesn't go too far. Do you think? I think she got a little short there on that.
She did. She's on a little bit of an angle, not the angle that she wants to be on the 7 ball.
And I have to do some fancy footwork with the cue ball here, sending it down to the other side and come back up. It looks like she's too much angle just to be a roll off and stop it there.
Yes. Perfect.
Wants to stop.
Good shot.
One of the things that I've noticed about her, and it's a mark of a champion that both of you have had also, Lori John, certainly in your career, Neva, and that is if you get a little bit out of line and you don't have perfect position, you find a way to make it work anyway.
Absolutely. You come with a little bit of a harder shot, so your next shot is a little bit easier. That's exactly what she did there.
This 9 would be for a 3-rack lead, 3 racks in a row for Karen Corr. And again, can't say it enough. If you're Helena Tornfeld, you do not want this steamroller to get going. See Helena twirling those fingers, sitting down. Right now, that is all she can do.
Very difficult about our sport is just sitting there watching the other person run out.
Karen Corr, dead center. 3 games now to the better of Helena Tornfeld. Thank you, Lori John Jones, for joining us.
Thank
in the
you
booth.
for
Always
having me
a pleasure
here.
to see you, and congratulations on a great tournament.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And now let's take a look at the other top finishers brought to you by the American Pool Players Association. On this page, you'll see the name of the 2000 WPA World Champion, a great tournament for Julie Kelly. And on this page, a couple of names you may not have seen before. One of them, a great tour veteran all the way from Canada, Maureen Cito, a good finish for her. And Kim Shaw, all the way from England, another in a long line, what is rapidly becoming a long line of great snooker players who are now playing full-time on the WPBA Tour. Karen Corr loves it here in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, the site of her first WPBA Tour victory in 2000. Won it again last year, the 2-time defending QTEQ Players Champion. And she is a serious young woman. Look at that face. She's up 4-1 against Helena Tornfeld, race to 7. Should she win, or Helena win, they would face Allison Fisher, who's waiting undefeated in the finals. And trust me, Karen wants nothing more than another shot at Allison after going down 9-1 during the tournament. So good break there, Ava.
That was a great break. She made a ball in the corner pocket. She pocketed the 7. As you can see here, she has an open shot at the 1. 2 ball, as it usually is left down here. She's going to have the cue ball go all the way around the table. I mean, the cue ball come all the way down for the 2.
As we look at this shot down the cue of Karen Corr, we want to mention Ava. Comes back the other way. How about that?
Well, she thought she couldn't come all the way around, so she went for the bank. Phenomenal shot. That's a very offensive shot. She can feel it now.
Let's
Look
take
at
another
this.
look. You know, I was thinking we get so lulled into watching Karen play sometimes. She plays such a steady, often conservative game. You forget that she's got this capability, too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that was an incredible shot, playing the cue ball control, come all the way down.
Wow. Crowd loved it. I was going to say that Lori John Jones, something that we didn't really want to mention it while she was there, Ava, because she's such a shy and modest thing. But just after, and still in the midst of an absolutely fabulous career, as I said, a legendary career in terms of the world of 9-ball, has just been nominated for the BCA Hall of Fame.
Not a moment too soon. It was just tremendous to hear that finally happened.
I couldn't agree with you more. So we do send our congratulations out to Lori John. We'll be anxiously awaiting to see if, and I think when, that happens. That's just kind of a personal.
Definitely a question of when. There's absolutely no doubt that Lori John will be in very, very near future in the Hall of Fame. But will it be this year? I'm hoping, and I think it will be. But if not, definitely by next year.
For a long time, the youngest person ever to hold a world championship title was Lori John Jones.
In any sport.
In any sport, until Tara Lipinski won the world championship in figure skating. And we're looking at Karen Corr now. Funny, but all of a sudden you realize how you watch the table and there's Karen. She seems to be there a whole lot.
Keeps on trucking.
She's moving her way around this rack.
And even though the balls are right there, the 5 balls right by the pocket, and so is the 6. Karen's not taking any chances. Very smart, making sure she's going to have the correct angle on the next ball. Again, you don't want to be straight in on a shot like this. You want to have the angle to be able to use the rail to come back up to the 8. Here's where you kind of pick a pocket. Wherever she feels comfortable, she's going to get the cue ball up to. She can play the 8 ball in the corner. She can go all the way up to the side.
After winning here at Valley Forge in 2000, that opened the door. 3 WPBA wins in 2000 and a sweep in 2001. Every WPBA Tour event had the name Karen Corr in first place at the end of every week. She would like nothing more than to continue that run. And what a phenomenal accomplishment against the level of play that now exists on the tour. There were 64 players here this week.
It's just incredible.
All of them great.
And Karen has won. It's not like she's won 9-1, 9-2. It's not like she is, that incredible of a player. She has shown so much heart. Won a lot of 9-8 matches, 9-7, 7-6 on the TV matches. It's just been great to watch her dominating last year. Showed a lot of heart.
That's 4 racks in a row now for Karen Corr, and she definitely has the capability to end this. Helena has the capability if she can get to the table. Getting a look at something that has absolutely become a household word, the Sardo tight rack. One press down, perfect rack every time. And there you see two very, very opposite ends of the spectrum. Elena Tornfeld on the right, just kind of hanging around, flicking the chalk around, kind of staring out, looking around. And here, Karen Corr chalking up, and already that mind is working big time at the table. Another reason for this, Karen's up 5-1 now in a race to 7. She's run off 4 racks in a row, one way or another, against Helena. Helena's had shots, but it's turned out at the end of those racks that Karen's standing. 5-1. Chance to move into the finals. The QTech Players Championship presented by the American Pool Players Association.
Well, Karen made the ball on the break. As you can see here, she lost control of the cue ball being on that end, the one ball being weighed up here. So she's going to have to play a safety on this shot. She didn't hit those balls with a lot of power at all that time. It was a little softer break than she normally has, and she hit them off, like I said, therefore missing the one ball on the side and also having the cue ball come all the way to the other end. That's the last thing you want to see when you're playing, is that have cue ball on one side and the object ball at the other.
Took her extension there. If you remember, each player with 1 30-second extension per rack. 30-second shot clock.
Oh.
Very, very surprising there as we watch the 4 go in.
You will see that happen from time to time, especially when a player applies a bit of, in that case, left-hand spin onto the cue ball. The left-hand English will force the cue ball ever so slightly over to the right as it's on its way to make contact with the object ball. So even though you have a clear shot to hit the one, and you're aiming it just fine, the ball is going to curve over and actually clip the ball in the way.
Now, if you're Elena Tornfeld, you're frustrated. She's got ball in hand on the 1, and she's looking at that 2 at the other end of the table, Ava, and she's going, man.
That's no fun with it tied up to the 7 like that.
And behind by 4 racks right now, and you just kind of get to a certain point, I think, where you just start feeling like, okay, I got to make something happen. I know that, but
she knows she needs to create something, so it'll be interesting to see what she's going to do here. I can't imagine her going for any kind of a shot. Looks like she might just try to thin the 2 and leave it there. Excellent shot. Very level-headed, not trying to force or rush anything. And like you said, I'm sure she is very antsy to get back on the scoreboard a little bit, tie this match back up. But she's just biding her time.
Sign of a mature player there. Let's see what Karen can do. Gonna have to sit on the table.
Well, it's difficult to see this from this angle, but she's sitting on the table, shooting a masse shot here, hitting down on the ball, and watch the cue ball turn around. She didn't.
Got it, but it did not hit another rail.
She made a great shot just hitting it, but way too soft. She had to have something going to the rail after the hit. She's smiling. That's another interesting thing.
Go,
Snooker, you don't have to hit a cushion after contact. You can actually literally roll the cue ball up onto another ball without having to, and without having something hit a rail. So that's a different rule. Obviously, Karen is very familiar with that rule here, but
a lot of skill went into just touching that 2 ball.
It did.
I mean,
it's a fun shot to watch.
Moved around a lot. But this is what Helena wanted when she played that safety, and she's going for another one right here, and the only thing we can think of is going to
well, she didn't. She may, but she didn't really have an option to play offensively there because the 2 ball just wouldn't go in any of the pockets. So she took her time, and hoping that Karen is going to make another mistake and hopefully give Helena a ball in hand, and then she'll go for the offensive run out. Oh, and again, she tried a very smart shot there by just rolling it up. She was hoping to hit the 2 ball fuller and leave no shot for Helena. Instead, she's left her an opportunity to shoot the 2 ball down here, and as you can see the 3 balls in the center of the table. So all Helena needs to do here is make sure she makes this long, tough shot down the rail and roll the cue ball up.
Shout. Yeah, you could see it just hit that side rail going down.
It's not an easy shot. Anytime you have to send the object ball that long of a distance, it's easy to do to have it going to the rail.
And it's funny because when you look at it, you think, oh, this is pretty straight, even though it's long. But
And it's not, it's a much easier shot if you can hit a stop shot, if you can hit it with authority as opposed to lagging it up like that. But
Look at where she left Karen here.
if you notice something too, Mitch, is that from the last match that Helena played and also in the beginning of this match, she's not hitting the balls with the same authority she was earlier. She's much more tentative.
Well, it's been a tough match for Helena
It
in
has.
a certain way because the first couple of games, in the first rack, she hardly had any shots at all. She missed a shot on the 2, and then that was the end of that rack. Karen took that. And then safety play in the second rack, back and forth. Didn't really get a chance to open it up. And Karen, that third rack was a lot of safeties on the 3 back and forth.
Right.
So there was never really a chance for her to get going, and now Karen's all of a sudden up 5-1.
And it's like Laura John pointed out earlier, is that is one of the strengths of Karen's game. She will keep you frustrated. She will play so many safeties, and when you finally do get an offensive shot, a lot of times you'll miss, just like Helena just did on that 2 ball, but you're not ready for the offensive shot yet, so you're not letting your stroke all the way out. Karen still has a lot of work here to do, Mitch. She wanted to come over farther on this 6. The fact that the cut is severe enough as it is, it's difficult to keep the cue ball down. She may have to go into the 7 here to be able to get a shot on the 7. And she missed it. Well, she hit the 7, but not enough of it. And now, at best, she would have a bank, but more than likely, she'd be playing safe.
So Helena looks like she will get another chance at the table. Remains to be seen what she's going to have left when she gets there.
Well, Helena's just happy to have any
Yeah,
kind of a
she
shot.
was up pretty quickly, I thought. Yeah. Gotta be just tiring and frustrating to sit down all the time. You want to be at the table.
You bet. And I don't know, but being down 5 games to 1 here, you really feel like you want to go for this bank. Obviously, there's a safety here. You can try to place the cue ball behind the 9, play is safe, but there's too strong of a pull to go ahead for this long rail bank, tough as it is. Built in position on the 9, and look at the shot she
Dead
wanted,
center.
and she got
Dead
it.
center. And you will hear a roar right now because this crowd wants Helena to be in this match.
That is so strong.
And she gets one back. Get a look at Steve Tipton placing these beautiful centennial balls into the rack. We want to thank Brunswick Billiards for those centennial balls. Helena Tornfeld trying to capitalize on an absolutely fabulous rack of 9 ball that she just played in the 8th rack to get it back to 3-5. After Karen Kaur won 4 racks in a row to get to 5-1, Helena's gotten the last 2 to get to 3-5. Just fighting for her life now in a race to 7. And a big break. Let's see if she gets lucky here. And I don't think so, Ava.
She did not pocket a ball there. And I don't know what kind of shot Karen has on the 1 here. I don't think she can actually, well, she may be able to make it. She's going to have to watch for a double hit here, making the 1 ball here. But look what you got down on the other side of the table. You have the 2-9. And this is going to be interesting what Karen's going to do here. I don't think she's going to go. She's going to go ahead and play safety. Well, we'll see. Yeah, she played the safety. She tried to spin the cue ball back behind the cluster of balls there to your right, but she didn't hit it quite quick enough. But at least she's left no shot for Helena.
And very unusual in this match. Helena Tornfeld has yet to make a ball on the break. She's had 3 chances, has not made a ball yet. So when you've got the #1 player in the world sitting in the other chair and you're letting them get to the table.
It's tough to
It is
constantly
tough.
give up the first shot because that sets the whole tone for the rest of the rack. Who gets control first? I think Helena's going to try to thin this on the left-hand side, spin the cue ball all the way around the table and hide behind this cluster. And she is just solid right now. She is just playing so
gutsy
solid.
shot right there. You miscalculate at all. And Karen Kaur has ball in hand. Instead, she's got this to deal with. You kind of feel things turning a little bit here, Ava. You feel Helena getting a little bit of
Oh,
confidence,
she definitely
little
has the momentum, for sure.
And Karen kind of wondering, all right, I was on a roll, now what?
Now Karen needs to go back to that steady, smart playing self of hers, where she just goes back to pinch and squeeze and make you work really, really hard for it. Many players will lose their composure at this point, where somebody like Helena's firing back at him like that, but Karen is not really one of those. I think Karen's going to do the smart thing here and not even try to hit this one. She's just going to make sure that there won't be a 2-9 combination for Helena to enjoy when she gets to the table. And she did that partly because it was hard to hit the one ball, but also because with that group of balls there on the right-hand part of the table, it was a tough run out, and therefore Helena's doing something else that she normally wouldn't do, which is to go for this difficult 1-9 combination.
Boy.
And again, the reason
Sure
she's
is.
going for it, she has two ways of looking at this. If she misses it, what she's hoping to do is to stop the cue ball right there. And if the one ball misses the 9 and goes over to the other side of the table again, she could end up with a safety even if she misses this 9. But you might as well go for the offensive shot, or at least that's how Helena is looking at it right now. This could be a very smart shot or a very not so smart shot. Well, she missed it,
See,
and there
that's
you
what
have
you're
the
talking
safety.
about.
Great two-way shot. She doesn't really care that she didn't make the 9. It would have been a nice little bonus.
But both players in the last shots they had kind of shaking their heads like, well, there's not a whole lot of option here.
Well, Karen is doing something pretty interesting here. Well, she's going to go ahead and try to hit it, but she was hitting it so softly. That one, you might want to go ahead and hit it a little bit and try to get it out of there. Or maybe she was just trying to make sure to make contact, get a little fortunate, and I'll leave a shot for Helena.
One right there, two right there, and then again, that cluster of balls.
Well, it's interesting because now that you look at it, if you see she's got the 1 had the 1 ball open, now the 2 is right there. The 5, the 4 ball is right here. That means it's the ball that she can actually make that into the corner pocket, and she may be able to break up the 5, 7, and the 6, or maybe play position for a 5, 7 combination. So Helena has seen an opening here. The fact that the 4 ball is the one that's out in the open, she may be able to create something. Depends on what kind of angle she gets on the 4 here. And again, we spoke of this before. This is where a lot of straight pool knowledge really comes in handy. Just knowing how to move around the balls, how to pick without disturbing them too much.
She is upset with herself right there. Grabbed the chalk off the table and shook her head.
Well, she wanted to get an angle to go into the balls, but I think as it turned out, this could be the best thing that happened to her, because now she can roll the 4 ball in and then play the 5 ball down in this corner. It will pass by the 6. So it may not be all bad.
It is all delicate at this point. Tough shot there. Touch shot on the 5, as Ava said, down to the other corner. She'll still have some work to do in the 6 and the 7.
She will, because the 6 won't pass, but she'll have a couple of options. She can either try to draw the cue ball into the 7. She has to make sure she hits it, or just follow this 5, go into the 6, have to make sure the 6 has a chance to come off the rail again, and you can have a shot on the 6 in the same pocket where you're shooting the 5. Perfect.
Look at that.
Perfect.
Wow.
So sometimes, you know, she failed to get position on the 4 where she wanted, and she turned it around, and it turned out to be the best thing could have happened.
And it's like you said, and one of the things about the maturity of Helena that we talked about in this match, about even though she was down 5-1, 5-2, not getting down, not being out of the match yet, is her ability to take what she is given.
Right.
She wasn't in perfect position. She thought, she said, okay, now what do I have to do? Move on.
Exactly. And just keeping her composure, and that's what, a lot of times what it separates a great player from a champion, somebody who wins matches and tournaments with consistency. Somebody who can just keep your composure and say, okay, now what do I do? As opposed to get down on yourself for making, or for failing to do exactly what you wanted to do.
Big, big boost here for Elena Tornfeld in rack 9. Pretty much showed it to you what she's got the last 2 racks. A lot of heart to go along with some great skill. Elena Tornfeld back within a game here in Valley Forge. The Q-Tech Cues Players Championship is brought to you by Q-Tech Cues, serious cues for serious players. By Brunswick Billiards, since 1845, the standard of superior craftsmanship preferred by experts around the world. And by the WPBA. Enter the world of women's professional pool. Visit WPBA.com. Karen Corr, her work almost done here, and I say almost, that is a key word because Elena Tornfeld has shown that she is not willing to give anything up for the #1 player in the world. Karen Corr, 6'4", in a race to 7, 1 game away from moving into the finals against Allison Fisher. We're in Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, the Q-Tech Cues Players Championship presented by the American Pool Players Association. And look at that break, Ava.
Well, that was the perfect break. Making 1 ball on the side, she made an additional ball, and look at the shot she has at the 2 here, wide open. And all she has to do is get position for this 3. She's playing the opposite corner pocket. And Helena may not have a chance to get back to the table again.
3 balls on the break. And what a time to do that. Beautiful touch there by Karen. A little bit of a concerned look on her face.
Yeah, she's a little straighter than she wanted. She wanted to be able to come up right about in here so she can make the 3 ball in the corner and drift out in this area for the 4. But she still should be okay. Just draw the cue ball back a little bit. Take more of an angle on the 4. I think she'll be fine.
2001 Player of the Year on the WPBA Tour. 5 consecutive Classic Tour titles, plus the WPBA National Championship. 2nd in the World Championship, 2nd in the BCA Open. Pretty good year for Karen.
Not too bad. Karen has, this is a pretty typical snooker decision she made there to go ahead and make the 4 ball all the way down in the corner. Most pool players would have just taken the cut shot the opposite direction, but she's going to take the long, tough shot down the rail.
Oh! And you saw her pull that cue back a little bit. It was very uncharacteristic for Karen Corr to do. Usually she strokes all the way through it and leaves that cue out there. You could tell as soon as she hit it, she knew that.
Chick was a little shaky there.
Yeah.
Well, she got away with it, and here she has just an opportunity to get it back up on the 7. Perfect position on the 7.
And you will hear, as I've been talking about, a very appreciative crowd here in Valley Forge. A lot of them members of the American Pool Players Association. They have been here all week in full support of this event. They volunteered for the event. We want to thank them. And Karen Corr doing what she needs to do. She has for quite a while now. 1 ball left to move into the finals. And there it is. And I'll tell you what, crowd really loves it. Karen Corr knows she is in a battle, and Helena Tornfeld, as Ava said, has everything to be proud of. Could have given up, got it back to 5-4, and then Karen gets the last 2 racks to move on. And now it's time for a super shot of the match, brought to you by the great folks at Q-Tech Cues. It came in rack number 6, Karen Corr at the table, and already taken a 4-1 lead with this very tough shot on the 1.
Well, she had no way to get around the table for the 2 balls, so instead she opted to bank this one very difficult shot. And look at the position. Because she decided to bank it, the cue ball came down perfectly to position on the 2.
She went on to take that game, and after a run by Helena Tornfeld, held her off and won the match 7-4 to move into the finals against the number 2 player in the world. It's what we wanted when we started the tournament. Number 1, Karen Four, against number 2, Allison Fisher. Keep an eye out for that great match. We're glad you've been with us here in Valley Forge for the QTQ Players Championship. Ray Lawrence, I'm Mitch Lawrence. As always, we will see you soon. Accommodations provided by the beautiful Valley Forge Hilton Hotel. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.